Welcome back to the Bard Review, the perfect start to your Sunday morning here at the Barn Theatre. I'm Benjamin Collins and I'm delighted to be joined, as ever, by the series co-producer Aaron Sidwell. Aaron, what have we got in store for us this week?
Well, this week is Ladies' Week. In contrast to, in Series 1, we obviously did the Shakespeare's Greatest Females Week. But this week is all about our women, our Bard from the Barn women, and the incredible female directors and actors that we have had working on this project.
Yeah, and there's no doubt that we've been truly blessed by some incredible women on this series so far. And this week, Aaron, they raised the bar even higher.
Our first guest this week is Georgina Squires, who we saw in Monday's episode of Richard III. How are you? You all right?
Yes, I'm well, thank you.
We know it's been a really, really tricky time for new graduates to be entering an industry with such uncertainty. But how was this experience for you, and particularly how was it for you to get to work with an actress like Natasha Barnes?
Yeah, I mean, it was super crazy. So for me, at the time when I found out about the Bar from the Barn opportunity, we had just literally been told that our final 2 shows had been cancelled at the London College of Music where I trained. So it was like a really, really scary time, obviously, as you said, very uncertain. And when I saw this, I've always loved Shakespeare. I loved doing it in training. So for me, I jumped on it, the opportunity. And then obviously, yeah, as you said, when I found out I was working with Natasha, which was absolutely incredible. I think her being such a skilled actress and obviously being a graduate myself, any opportunity to get to work with someone who has those skills that inspires me so much. A lot of her work I've really loved, and Francesca as well, of course, brilliant director. So yeah, it was a really great opportunity for me to get to work with both those guys. They're incredible.
That's awesome. I wonder if I could ask a question of you, Georgina. What was it like working with Francesca specifically? You know, her concept, given the restrictions and things like that. What was that like?
It was honestly the Zoom rehearsals that we had. Honestly, there wasn't a minute that went by where we weren't all laughing together and just absolutely having so much fun with it. And that's what I think was brilliant about the scene that I worked on, and Francesca's concept for it was that it was just fun, and it was a chance to be silly and create something that I don't think that scene's been done in that way before. Maybe it has, but not to my knowledge. But yeah, it was incredible. Her concept was so fun.
Yeah, so certainly not filmed, you know, in 2 different streets. You know, I think it's exactly really cool to see it all come together in the audience.
We weren't really quite sure how we were going to pull that off, but I think we've managed to.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
Well, we're about to see it. This is Natasha Barnes and Georgina Squires in Richard III, directed by Francesca Goodrich.
What black magician conjures up this theme to stop devoted charitable deeds?
Sweet saint. For charity be not so cursed.
What? Foul devil! For God's sake hence and trouble us not, for thou hast made the happy earth thy hell, filled it with cursing cries and deep exclaims. And thou unfit for any place but hell.
Yes, one place. If you'll have me name it.
Some dungeon?
Your bedchamber.
I'll rest betide the chamber where thou liest.
Well, so will it, madam, till I lie with you.
I hope so.
I know so. But gentle Lady Anne, to leave this keen encounter of our wits and fall something into a slower method.
Welcome back to Romantic Drive Time with Kenny Gold. We've had a special record request here from Richard, Duke of Gloucester, who's singing his own love song dedicated to Lady Anne. This is Your Bosom.
Your beauty was the cause of that affair. Your beauty that did haunt me in my sleep. To undertake the death of all the world. So I might live 1 hour in your sweet bosom.
If I thought that, I tell thee, homicide. These nails should rent that beauty from my cheeks.
Well, these eyes could not endure that beauty's rack. You should not blemish it. If I stood by, as all the world is cheered by the sun, so I by that, it is my day, my life.
Black night o'ershade thy day, and death thy life.
Oh, curse not thyself, fair creature, thou art both.
Oh, I would I were to be revenged on thee.
He that bereft thee, lady, of thy husband, did it to help thee to a better husband.
His better must not breathe upon this earth.
He lives that loves thee better than he could.
Name him. Where is he?
Here! Why dost thou spit at me?
I would it were mortal poison for thy sake.
Never came such poison from so sweet a place.
Never hung poison on a fouler toad. Out of my sight. Thou dost infect mine eyes.
Then bid me kill myself and I will do it.
I have already.
That was in thy rage. Speak it again.
Well. Put up your sword.
Say then, my peace is made.
That thou shalt know hereafter.
But shall I live in hope?
All men, I hope, live so.
Vouchsafe to wear this ring.
To take is not to give.
Look how my ring encompasseth thy finger. Bid me farewell.
'Tis more than you deserve, but since you teach me how to flatter you, imagine I have said farewell already.
Whichever woman in this humour would. Whichever woman in this humour won. I'll have her. But I will not keep her long.
We are now joined by Matilda Childs and Blue Kirkby. Hello both and welcome to the show.
Hello. Hi.
Matilda, this scene is so much fun, and I think it really highlights how ridiculous some men can be on dating apps specifically. Like, you just see stuff all the time and you're like, what? There's the really famous one, have you seen, of the guy Paul, who's 18, who looks like he's 60. That's like one of the most famous gifs I've ever seen. So how did you guys come up with the idea for this?
So we had a discussion, obviously, and it was really cool. Like, we had to think about what different scenes we could do, and coming across this scene with Nerissa and Portia, it was exciting because the concept, we all didn't say it to begin with, but it came to us. Do you know what I mean? Like, we were having the same thought, and then when Katie Ann said about doing dating app type thing, I was like, yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. And I think same for you, Blue, is it that it made sense, and it was just fun. Like, the characters are so giggly and like fun. It's just me words. But I just think it's really fun.
Had a lot of fun doing it. That's cool. Yeah. And I wanted to ask Blue, who on earth were your ridiculous male co-stars in this scene?
So our lovely director, Katie Ann, after discussing about like how we were going to do it, so we knew it was going to be about online dating during lockdown, and also it's kind of like already written for you. Shakespeare's given you that already. The scene is there. It's perfect to just leap on as a Zoom type of chat about two girls. It's just so relatable in today's world, like as is a lot of Shakespeare. Two girls chatting about boys and relationships, and then Katie Ann came up with the idea of actually finding actors to come and play the suitors, Portia's suitors. Yeah, sorry.
There we go.
Get out of my shot.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, welcome to the show.
It's my girlfriend. Yeah. So yeah, it took her a while, I think, to track down different looks, I think. So because everyone had all the men had like different infuriating traits about them that Portia and Narissa found hilarious.
Well, this video is a real treat for the whole audience. And this is Matilda Child and Blue Kirkby in The Merchant of Venice, directed by Katie Ann McDonough.
First, there is the Neapolitan prince.
Aye, there's a colt indeed, for he does nothing but talk of his horse, and makes it a great appropriation of his own good parts that he can shoe him himself. I am much afeard my lady, his mother, played false with a smith.
Then, there is the County Palatine.
Oh, he does nothing but frown, as who should say, and you will not have me choose. He hears merry tales and smiles not.
I fear he will prove the weeping philosopher when he grows old, being so full of unmannerly sadness in his youth.
Oh, God defend me from these two.
How say you by the French lord, Monsieur Le Bon? God made him, and therefore let him pass for a man.
In truth, I know it is a sin to be a mocker, but he will fence with his own shadow.
What say you then to Falconbridge, the young Baron of England?
You know I say nothing to him, for he understands not me, nor I him. He hath neither Latin, French, nor Italian, and you will come into the court and swear that I have a poor pennyworth of the English.
He is a proper man's picture, but, alas, who can converse with a dumb show?
How oddly he is suited. I think he bought his doublet in Italy, his round hose in France, his bonnet in Germany, and his behaviour everywhere.
How like you the young German, the Duke of Saxony's nephew?
Very vilely in the morning when he is sober, and most vilely in the afternoon when he is drunk. When he is best, he is little worse than a man, and when he is worse, he's little better than a beast. And the worst fall that ever fell. I would do anything, Narissa, ere I will be married to a sponge.
Do you not remember, lady, in your father's time, a Venetian, a scholar and a soldier that came hither in the company of the Marquis of Montferrat?
Yes, it was Bassanio, as I think so was he called.
True, madam. He, of all the men that ever my foolish eyes looked upon, was best deserving a fair lady.
I remember him well, and I remember him worthy of thy praise.
We are now delighted to welcome back Barn Theatre regular Sarah Waddell and the wonderful Tegan Hurley, who you saw earlier this week in The Merry Wives of Windsor. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hello.
I was going to ask you, costume in this piece. How did that come about? What came first, the face mask or the kimono?
Well, obviously we had to work with what we had in lockdown, and the face mask was Derek's idea, and I was like, I obviously have loads of those. I didn't know I was going to be wearing it for the entirety of the filming process, so my skin was very clean afterwards, like exfoliated. What you see here is a vision compared to what was before the shoot.
Well, I can verify that, absolutely.
Wow.
And Sarah, it looked like, Sarah, you poured yourself quite a large drink in this video. And just to set the audience's mind at ease, that's not really your usual vibe, is it? You're not a big drink kind of person.
I mean, to be fair, I was quite method for the filming of this. You know, you've got to really get into your character. So I wouldn't normally partake of any alcoholic beverages, as you know, Aaron. But I thought I'd really go for it. So I had a couple of nights practice just to know what the feeling was. You know, you just got to.
I bet.
I've never been drunk in my entire life. Never, ever.
The people at Teatro, you are a virtuous stranger to them.
I think you'll find I was a bit of a hit.
Yeah.
Sarah's middle name is Method. All right, here we go. This is now Sarah Waddell and the wonderful Teegan Hurley in a scene from The Merry Wives of Windsor.
Mistress Page?
Alice! You look very ill.
Nay? I have to show the contrary. Oh, Meg, give me some counsel. If it were not for one trifling respect, I could come to such honour.
Hang the trifle, woman. Take the honour.
If I would but go to hell for an eternal moment or so, I could be knighted.
Sir Alice Ford.
Here, perceive how I might be knighted. I will think the worst of fat men, as long as I have an eye to make a difference of men's liking. How shall I be revenged on him? Well, I think the best way were to entertain him with hope till the wicked fire of lust have melted him in his own grease. Have you ever heard the like?
Letter for letter, but that the name of Page and Ford differs. Here is the twin brother of thy. I warrant he hath 1,000 of these, with different names. Sure, more. And these are of the second edition. I had rather be a giantess and lie under Mount Pelion. Well, I will find you 20 lascivious turtles ere one chaste man.
Why, these are the very same. Oh, what does he think of us?
Nay, I know not. It makes me almost ready to wrangle with mine own honesty. I'll entertain myself like one that I am not acquainted withal. For sure, unless he knows some strain in me that I know not myself.
He would never have ordered me in this fury. Boarded, call you it. I'll be sure to keep him above deck.
So will I. If he come under my hatches, I'll never to see again. Let's be revenged on him. Let's give him a show of comfort in his suit and lead him on with a fine baited delay till he hath pawned his horses to mine host of the garter.
Nay, I will consent to act any villainy against him. Let us not sally the chariness of our honesty. Oh, if my husband saw this, it would give eternal food to his jealousy.
My good man, he is as far from jealousy as I am from giving him cause, which I hope is an unmeasurable distance.
You are that happier woman.
Come, let's consult together against this greasy knight.
We are now joined by director Richard Neal and actress Jordan McMahon. How are you both?
Hi, I'm great, thank you.
Cool.
Yeah,
Richard,
good.
how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm fine, thanks. Yeah.
Sweet. Now, Richard, we hear quite a lot about how the themes of this play present extremely tricky topics when it comes to setting, I don't know, measure for measure in a modern context, I suppose. Tell me about that. Was it something that you struggled with when it came to this particular scene?
I don't think so. I actually think in terms of measure for measure in a modern capacity, it kind of fits quite well. And I think Geordie and Katie and I talked about it quite a bit.
What did you find?
About, well, just a woman's voice in a really male-dominated society. And the woman constantly being looked at, or in this sense, in measure for measure, women constantly being looked at as a service, an enabler from one man to another. So this constant voice of, you can do this for me, you can fix this, you can do this for me. And all of these men constantly asking for something from this, the female character. Yeah, absolutely. And so whichever way Isabella turns in the play, really, there's always a man asking for something from her with like very, very little in return, if anything at all, apart from a botched proposal by the Duke at the end of the play, which she doesn't say anything to, you know. But weirdly, I think we found those themes all right in a modern setting, actually. And then the scene, Act 3, Scene 1, we felt, regardless of the gender of Claudio, but in terms of sitting into a lockdown situation, in terms of, you know, what's happening with us at the moment, that the scene kind of lent itself really well to isolation already. It kind of does it by being in a prison. It kind of gave us that edge already, or gave us a kind of a context that we could work from, so that we could, as much as possible, honour the scene as it is, really. It's such an amazing scene. This argument of religion versus humanity put into a domestic brother-sister setting, and then just left for us to kind of work out who's right. You know, where do our moral guidelines sit? And I think probably in terms of writing, when Shakespeare was writing it, that the idea of pushing and challenging religion and God like that was probably pretty huge.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, Jordan, I have to apologise for subjecting you to Katie Heath. I'm just kidding, of course. She's such a wonderful actress, and we've been so lucky to have her working on this with us. How was it for you to get to work with her?
I love her. She's like an auntie.
Oh.
I really, from like the first time we all kind of had our first rehearsal together, it was like we all knew each other and we all kind of got along so well. And she would just say things like, I feel like we have the same mind, where she would like say something like so insane and I would be like, yes, exactly. You know, I feel like we click so well, and she's so talented, and she's so she really reads between the lines. And I think for me, for someone who I didn't train in straight acting, I trained in musical theatre, and like Shakespeare is like a module for me on my course, you know. And I think it's really important to have people like Katie and like Richard who can just break it down and explain it in a way that's not, it doesn't feel like work for me. It feels really relatable, and it was fun, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm honestly, thank you guys so much. I feel honoured to work with you.
That was a huge thing for me when we were when we had all the submissions from third years. Was I very much didn't just want a load of people off of acting courses. I really wanted different voices. I myself have done loads of musical theatre, as is my partner, and loads of people that we had in series one. And I think that's a really important thing, because, you know, so much of this text really lends itself to singing. It's just verse, you know, and so much of the time you can put some of this stuff to music anyway, and people still do. You see the Globe do it all the time. So this is Jordan McMahon and Katie Heath in Measure for Measure, directed by Richard Neal.
Claudio? Claudio?
Now, sister, what's the comfort?
Why, as all comforts are, most good indeed. Lord Angelo, having affairs to heaven, intends you for his swift ambassador, where you shall be an everlasting lieger. Therefore, your best appointment make with speed. Tomorrow you set on.
Is there no remedy?
Yes, brother, you may live. There is a devilish mercy in the judge, if you'll implore it, that will free your life, but fetter you till death.
Perpetual durance?
Aye, just perpetual durance.
Let me know the point.
Well, I do fear thee, Claudio, and I quake, lest thou a feverous life shouldst entertain, and 6 or 7 winters more respect than a perpetual honour. Darest thou die? The sense of death is most in apprehension. And the poor beetle that we tread upon in corporal sufferance finds a pang as great as when a giant dies.
Why give you me this shame? Think you I can a resolution fetch from flowery tenderness? If I must die, I will encounter darkness as a bride and hug it in mine arms.
Yes, thou must die. Thou art too noble to conserve a life in base appliances. This outward sainted deputy, whose settled visage and deliberate word nips youth i' the head and follies doth immue as falcon doth the fowl, is yet a devil. His filth within being cast, he would appear a pond as deep as hell.
The frenzy, Angelo.
So think, Claudio. If I would yield him my virginity, thou mightst be freed. Oh, were it but my life, I'd throw it down for your deliverance as frankly as a pin. Be ready, Claudio, for your death tomorrow.
Yes. Has the affections in him that thus can make him bite the law by the nose when he would force it. Sure, it is no sin, or of the deadly 7, it is the least.
What says my brother?
Death is a fearful thing.
Shamed life are hateful.
Aye, but to die, and go we know not where. To lie in cold obstruction and to rot. This sensible warm motion to become a needed clod, and the delighted spirit to bathe in fiery floods, or to reside in thrilling region of thick-ribbed ice, to be imprisoned in viewless winds and blown with restless violence around the pendant world, or to be worse than worse of those that lawless and uncertain thought imagine howling. 'Tis too horrible. The weariest and most loathed worldly life that age, ache, penury, and imprisonment can lay on nature is a paradise to what we fear of death.
Alas! Alas!
Sweet sister, let me live! What sin you do to save a brother's life, nature dispenses with the deed so far that it becomes a virtue.
Oh, you beast! Oh, faithless coward! Oh, dishonest wretch! It's not a kind of incest to take life from thine own sister's shame. What should I think? Heaven shield my mother played my father fair, for such a warp slip of wilderness ne'er issue from his blood. You take my defiance. Die. Perish. Might but my bending down reprieve thee from my fate, it should proceed. I'll pray 1,000 prayers for thy death. No word to save thee.
Nay, hear me, Isabel.
Oh, fie! Fie! Thy sin's not accidental, but a trade. Mercy to thee would prove itself abhorred. 'Tis best thou diest quickly.
Oh, hear me, Isabella!
Zoe Mills and Isabel Anderson join us now to discuss their version of Juliet and the nurses scene from Romeo and Juliet. Zoe, the love between the nurse and Juliet is so moving, but particularly in this scene where she kind of knows what she's assisting in and the dangers that could come with it, but she just wants this child really of hers to be happy. So was there a difficulty in playing this kind of scene in this way?
Yeah. I think it's something we were really aware of, like when we were talking about doing it, of kind of going, well, how are we going to, because when we read it through, we were instantly like, oh, it's going to be a great laugh. I can't wait to do it. And then we were like, yeah, except you won't be there. How are we going to do that? So I think just having met Izzy on Zoom, and we sent each other the audio so we could listen to it quite a lot. So we knew, even though we do some variations, I was really picturing Izzy, and then she'd actually done her beautiful film first. And I was like, all right, okay, well, I'll do it all point of view then, because mine isn't going to look like that, because it's going to be me in the kitchen, probably with some real shopping. Yeah, trying to make it work. So we went for kind of a different style for the nurse. But no, I was just, I mean, having read it with Izzy, and she was just a fantastic Juliet straight off. So I just really had her in my head the whole time, and was like, yeah, she's a gorgeous woman. And you know, you're like, it was really helpful having had the read-throughs and video, and we swapped audio, and I'd seen her beautiful film first, so yeah.
It was incredible to watch. It was so cinematic. I think it was one of the first bits of footage that we got through, and I saw it. I was like, wow, it's incredible, cinematic and gorgeous. Like, what was behind the quality of that film? And on top of that, playing Juliet must have been incredible, Isabel.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I actually got to play Juliet when I was like 14 in Amdram, and I would love to see how terrible that performance was. But so getting to see it again was great after having done training and probably understanding it a little bit more. So yeah, what a fantastic opportunity. And yeah, so the filming of it, I actually invited a mate of mine who's a cameraman who came and sort of shot it with me, because he was like, oh yeah, it'd be fun to do that. And yeah, we just went up to a local park and messed around for an afternoon, and it was great. And it actually looks really good.
Looks awesome. And well, I suppose there's nothing for it but to show the people. So we'll go to it right now. This is Zoe Mills and Isabel Anderson in Romeo and Juliet, directed by the always amazing David Mercatali.
The clock struck 9 when I did send the nurse. In half an hour she promised to return. Perchance she cannot meet him. That's not so. She is lame. Love's heralds should be thoughts which 10 times faster glide than the sun's beams, driving back shadows over luring hills. Therefore do nimble pinioned doves draw love, and therefore hath the wind swift Cupid wings. Now is the sun upon the highmost hill of this day's journey, and from 9 until 12 is 3 long hours, yet she is not come. Had she affections and warm youthful blood, she would be swift in motion as a ball. My words were bandy her to my sweet love, and his to me. But old folks may feign as they were dead, unwieldy, slow, heavy, and pale as lead. Oh God, she comes. Oh, honey nurse, what news? Hast thou met with him? Send thy man away.
Peter, stay at the gate.
Now good, sweet nurse. Oh Lord, why look'st thou sad? Though news be sad, yet tell them merrily. If good, thou shamest the music of sweet news by playing it to me with so sour a face.
I am a-weary, give me leave a while. Fight, how my bones ache. What a jaunt have I had.
I would thou hast my bones, and I thy news. Nay, come, I pray thee speak, good nurse, speak.
Jeezy, what haste? Can you not stay a while? Do you not see that I am out of breath?
How art thou out of breath when thou hast breath to say to me that thou art out of breath? The excuse that thou dost make in this delay is longer than the tale thou dost excuse. Is thy news good or bad? Answer to that. Say either, and I'll take the circumstance. Let me be satisfied. Is good or bad?
Well, you have made a simple choice. You know not how to choose a man. Romeo, though not he, though his face be better than any man's, yet his leg exceeds all men's. I can put for a hand and a foot and a body, though they be not talked of, yet they are past compare. He's not the flower of courtesy, but I'll warrant thee as gentle as a lamb. Go thy ways, wench, serve God. What, have you dined at home?
No. But all this I did know before. What's this here of our marriage? What of that?
Lord, how my head aches. What a head have I. It beats as if it would fall in 20 pieces. My back on the other side of it. Oh, my back. Beshrew your heart for sending me about to catch my death with jaunting up and down.
Dear Faith, I am sorry thou art not well. Sweet, sweet, sweet nurse, tell me, what says my love?
Your love says, like an honest gentleman, and a courteous and a kind, and I'll warrant a virtuous. Where is your mother?
Where is my mother? Well, she is within. Why, where should she be? How oddly that replies. Your love says like an honest gentleman. Where is your mother?
God's dear lady, are you so hot? Marry, come up a trow. Is this the poultice to my aching bones? Henceforward you can do your messages yourself.
Oh, here's such a coil. Come, what says Romeo?
Have you got leave to go to Shrift today?
I have.
Then hie you hence to Friar Lawrence's cell. There stays a husband to make you a wife. Now comes the wanton blood up in your cheeks. They'll be in scarlet straight at any news. Hie you to church. I must another way to fetch a ladder, by which your love must climb a bird's nest soon when it is dark. I am the drudge and toil to your delight, but you shall bear the burden soon at night. Go, out to dinner. Hie you to the cell.
Oh, high to high fortune, honest nurse, farewell.